It's so good. It's so good. Yo, what's up, dude? What's up, dude? Did you hear this yet? Jay the Bard made a synthwave sea shanty.
Oh yeah, I saw him tweet that out. I haven't listened to it yet.
Dude, Infamous, thank you for the 5 gifted, man. Thank you. Dude, thank you, Big. Dude, Kimber, thank you for the 5 gifted. Holy shit. Wait, let's start the viewer call-ins. Here we go. Yo, what's up, Rockman?
Yo, what's up, gentlemen?
There we go. Hey. What's up, Rockman?
Man?
Hey, sorry about that. I had the the stream up and I didn't have my headphones on. How y'all doing?
I'm doing great, and don't worry about it. We have that happen with pretty much everybody.
So, Rich, I wanted to say to you, man, I'm a big fan of your work. I saw you back in the Chongqing Dota tournament. That was the first time I saw you hosting. You were awesome. I love your work, man. I'm glad you're a full-time streamer now.
Yeah, thank you a lot. That's actually one of my favorite tournaments of all time. Thank you.
So I wanted to ask probably a couple questions, I guess, but to open it, have you guys been following the Classic Summer Bowl?
No, I haven't. Not really.
I've watched a little bit. Yeah.
Why?
Well, why didn't you watch it, Asmon? You're not a fan of Warsong?
It's just like, it's classic, man. Like, you watch like one game, you see every single one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think at the highest level, it can be pretty competitive, and there's like a lot of strategy involved. But I wanted to ask, Rich, would you ever be interested in casting Warsong Gulch?
I mean, the whole thing is like I've always been pretty picky with like a lot of things. Like I think obviously Ven and Zico did like an incredible job. The thing is if I was ever going to, let's say, make a classic tournament with, let's say, Asmon, S-Fan, just, you know, randomly picking names. I think format is like absolutely key. I think everybody's seen, you know, just going and playing a little bit of Warsong Gulch. I think that's something that people have seen before. But I think if we were ever going to make a show, we would make a show that was a little bit more nuanced than that and would try to create something that people hadn't seen before. I think Asmon in particular does that stuff like that all the time on his stream. I think he's really good at doing stuff like that. And I think that not every single show that you see around Battlegrounds needs to be an esport. Not every single show around Dungeons needs to be an esport. Sometimes it's good to just have a show that's just fun and entertaining. And I think sometimes people in gaming forget that.
Like, basically, you'll watch something as like a way to kind of appreciate and see like somebody's level of skill and understanding at, you know, a certain sport, and like someone just being really good at it. But the thing with Classic to me is like the skill level, the skill cap for that game is like pretty low. And that's why it's not really as interesting to watch. Like, I think that Classic WoW like thrives whenever it's personality driven and not whenever it's competitively driven.
Yeah, and that's that was like one of the things we witnessed in the Classic Summer Bowl is that the skill ceiling and the skill floor are very far away from one another in competitive Warsong Gulch. Like, for example, the Apes team in EU, they kind of just floored everyone they played. It was a blowout pretty much. Every match they had. The only match that was even close was them playing their own guild. Apes versus Apes Bred. So, kind of like traditional sports, there is, like basketball, for instance, there's, you know, street basketball, like pickup basketball, you know, in high school or whatever. And then there's like professional NBA where you can't even compare the two skill level wise. And I know it's kind of ridiculous to say that about Classic WoW and Warsong Gulch, but in a meta, kind of like what Healing Stat and Blizzard developed for the Summer Bowl, you can absolutely have a really competitive Warsong Gulch, and just like traditional sports, it's the same map, right? It's the same rules, but there are definitely moments that can be super, super exciting.
Yeah,
and
of course.
It's like Dota, you know, there's 3 lanes and there's the same heroes, but you know, they're playing the same game every time.
Yeah, I just think
the coordination and everything like is kind of exciting to watch. Like, that's definitely true. I'm okay with that. But it's just not really that fun to me, right? I mean, like, if I see like a retail RPG or something like that, or like a retail arena game, there's just a lot more going on, and like the skill level of those players is much higher. Like while there might be like not really that many people like that take Classic WoW competitively, I don't really think that like the lack of like a competitive space really means that the people that were at the top of it are really that much better.
Yeah, and I also think it's like it's one of those things too, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I just think it's you always need to appreciate that
I am the knight.
some people are gonna like it and some people aren't going to like it, right? If it doesn't matter what it is, what type of content it is, content shouldn't be made for everybody. It should be made for the people that really love it. And if it's a small community, sure, it's a smaller group of people, but I don't think that content should ever impact gameplay, and I don't think that it should ever impact the people that don't want to watch it, because it is shoulder content, right? Like, I don't think that people should be negatively affected by making everything completely balanced in the game to make it an esport. I never have. I said that while I was casting. I'll say it when I'm not casting. And esports was my entire life. I love esports. I'm one of the people that loves esports. I don't think that it should affect game design. I think that the formats can create those scenarios for the people who really do love esports to have those moments and to have those sick moments and celebrate the skill of players.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
for sure. And like Dota started out as a custom map, right? A couple hundred people were goofing around in. And like over time, it became a more serious esport. And I think that's what happened on private servers with Warsong Gulch in particular, as it has developed over time and become more of a esport type game. But I mean, and you're absolutely right. You don't want to have to anything that's forced by a company as an esport is usually just garbage. And like the private server community has developed Warsong Gulch on their own, and I think it's cool that Blizzard put a spotlight on it for sure. But I mean, I would love to see the Asmongold S-Fan Rich Warsong Gulch tournament, or even like a tips out tournament
Rich Kid Prime,
in the future.
Rich Kid Prime, Rich Kid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be really fun to do. I mean, like again, I think it can be entertaining and fun to watch. It's just that you do have like a lot of the like negative aspects of it, right? Where I think if it's completely based around like a player skill, for example, it's not really as entertaining to watch because there's just not really a lot of range of behaviors and like things you can do.
Can I say the one thing that I've talked to you about that I want to do eventually?
Yeah, let's just do it.
So this is like the type of thing that I think is really important, right? I've always had this idea for a thing that I've called the Azeroth Olympics, that Asmon, S-Fan, a few of us have talked about quite a bit. And like with that, would there be Warsong Gulch? Yeah, there'd be some Warsong Gulch in there. But I don't think everybody wants to watch nonstop Warsong Gulch, which is fine. So there would be like Warsong Gulch, then there would be a wetlands foot race, right? Like the wetlands run. Then you might have a transmog competition. Then you might actually have a dueling aspect to it, right? I think shows like that are really the future. I think any show that kind of celebrates all the different aspects of the game gives people a little bit of a bite of everything. And I don't think that they're the only thing in the future, but I think that they're a big part of making community events where everybody can feel involved, everybody can have fun. And there have been some of them in the past, and when they're done right, they're really enjoyable to watch.
That sounds awesome. And like a fun like a event for chat to meme about. That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Well, they like their memes. They like their little W's. They like their pagos.
But yeah, if y'all couldn't tell, I'm a big Gulch fan. That's pretty much the only reason I still play WoW is for the Gulch.
Yeah, I mean, like I think doing something like that, like Warsong Gulch, like one problem with it personally is I feel like Arathi Basin personally lends itself to being more of like an esport because it has like more of a defined endpoint where like certain Warsong Gulch games can go, forever. And like with Arathi Basin, like you can't really make it go over like an hour.
No, I've heard that argument too, but I disagree because I think there's elements of Arathi Basin that are kind of sloppy, I guess, like the whole spinning the flag. And you can also the bug in vanilla, if chat didn't know, when an enemy is capturing a flag, if you use mind control cap on them, you can batch the MC cap, and the flag will get capped for your team. And it's like kind of just sloppy. And like, I don't like the fact that the buffs are random in each base. But I mean, Arathi Basin is a fun mix in a way to have different PvP. But I think Warsong Gulch is much more focused around team objectives and player centric objectives instead of like spinning flags and like kind of RNG type stuff. Yeah, what's up, McConnell?
I do feel kind of agree with that. I mean, like Warsong Gulch, I think if you added a timer to it, it would be good.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
I'd be fine with a timer.
Yeah.
Like, I thought the timer was an improvement over, like, not having it at all.
Hey, thanks for your question, caller. Appreciate it.
I think 35 minutes is too short, though. 45 minutes would be better. But, thanks for dragging me in. I appreciate it, Rich. I love your content, man.
Thank you.
You too,
Dude.
Asmon.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you very much.
More Warsong Gulch. All right, later, boys.
Thank you, dude. The Gulch, bro.
Well,
What's up, McConnell?
What's up?
Dude, it
You
took
got
me
fired. You got fired, dude. You got fired. For shit talking. You got fucking dropped, dude. Now you can't do what you love to do.
is Rich crying or laughing?
That's really true, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks though.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yo, what's up? What's up, Emath?
What do you think will
Oh,
happen
hello,
to
hello.
Podcast after
Emath, you're on the air.
Shadowlands?
Huge fan,
Remind me
y'all
and I'll
are
answer your
absolute
question.
legends.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, so with Shadowlands coming out, they're talking. There's a huge focus from Blizzard about like revamping, like a learning experience for someone new coming to WoW, or like an old player trying out retail again for the first time. You know, the lowering the level cap and revamping all the questing
Dude,
zones
thank
and
you,
whatnot.
Rock. Thank you, Rock.
Yeah.
And then I was watching the stream last night, and it was like the "but wait, there's more" meme with all the new stuff that's being added.
Uh-huh.
Because it's just system after system after system. So I guess, like, how does Blizzard handle that? Like, introducing
just-
all of that again.
I mean, I think they just have a lot of people working on the game, and they just sit at home all day and just think of different shit to add into the game. I mean, like, you can't tell me that thinking up a Venthyr party solution and, like, a party scenario that you actually have to get things out of. Like, this was not created by a sober person. Like, there's some sort of drugs or alcohol or substances involved.
That's a
to come up with that
quarantine idea. You know, it'd be fun
Yeah.
if we could go to a party.
Yeah, really. And so I think that they're probably going to be able to pull a lot of it off. I think it's really just a matter of, like, I don't think any of it's really going to be probably, like, super bad. I think more so it's probably going to be, it's going to be just like, it's like with Covenants, like they're choosing to do something that players disagree with. And I think that's really what it's going to be, is that they will choose to make a decision that will end up being bad rather than decisions that they intentionally make will not be, systems they intentionally make will not be bad fundamentally. That's kind of what I'm expecting.
Yeah, they keep trying to add like all these different games in to the game, right? Like, okay, it's like you're playing WoW, but also you're playing Raid Shadow Legends and Pokemon. And I just really hope that with the Venthyr dance thing, that it's VR chat. Imagine if they just threw that in the game, dude. You got your furries yiffing. You know, have you ever heard that one cover of Ocean Meon? Ocean Meon. I'll be blasting that, dude. Never mind. I'll tell you about it later. I think that they should just add VR chat into WoW. What do they got to lose at this point?
Dignity.
It's just one more system. Guess it'd be fine by now.
They already added 80 of them today. I mean, that's obviously the big question, right? If all these systems end up being even a little bit enjoyable, it seems like there would be a lot of content in the game. I just hope that it's not gated behind Covenants completely, because imagine if the Build-A-Bear patchwork thing from Maldraxxus is the most fun piece of content ever, but you really want to be a Night Fae. Like, that's kind of an annoying feeling that you would have to level up an alt to experience that content. So I hope they do have a way that you can engage with all of those different Covenants.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that yet. I don't know.
Just seems to me like they're just like, I'm trying to figure out if this is like one cohesive, like brand new thing, or if they're just
Thank you, Ham.
scattershotting a million different systems that'll be gone like 3 months after the players decide, well, this one sucks, I'm not gonna play it.
Well, I'd rather them scattershot than not shoot at all. I mean, like,
True.
I think it's important for them to make decisions and change things in the game. There's a lot of people that kind of always want things to stay exactly the same as they were, and I don't really think that's the best idea. I think it's important for Blizzard to go out of their way and actually really try and change and evolve things in a way that makes it more interesting.
Yeah, I think that has always been a thing that we've said we wanted to see going into an expansion, is them actively making changes based off of how it plays and not waiting until the very end of the expansion to make those huge changes that
Say, hey, those things people were saying in beta, maybe they're true.
Dude,
we'll have
haha,
them in
thank
the
you.
4th patch for the expansion.
Yeah, because it would be cool like if they make that change or like recognize it needs to be changed, but like also like we had island expeditions and that stayed
Thank you, pretty.
the whole time pretty much.
Well, the problem with islands isn't really islands per se. It's the fact that they were the best way of getting gear. Or not getting gear, excuse me, getting Azerite power. And if that wasn't the case, then it would have been completely fine. Like, islands would have been totally okay. Islands right now, as they stand, are 100% fine because they have no impact on anything else in the game. They're just like their own solo system.
Well, look at it this way: if you made I don't know, anything. If you made a dresser, a table with shelves on it, and you wanted people to like it a lot, and you had the option to just fill it up with money, so people would like your dresser more, why wouldn't you do it? If I'm a game designer and I just made a system, I'm going to put as much loot on it as possible so I don't get fired. I know that I'm not the best at not getting fired, but I think that would be a strategy that would work.
Sorry about that. That sucks, man.
No, we chilling, dude. But yeah, I think that if you could take a system, if you made a new system, why wouldn't you just make it the most rewarding thing possible? Like,
Didn't
Yeah,
they
they
also say
wanna
they
over-incentivize.
didn't? Didn't they also say like some of the stuff like isn't gonna have any rewards at all?
I don't know about that. I don't remember seeing that specifically, but
They were
you
saying it
never
was
know.
like it's just to flesh out lore, which if they do that, it's fine. But like, yeah, if they're gating hardcore character progression behind it, that's just like what I'm worried about. Is if I have to do like 6 parties a week to make sure I'm staying on track, or
I really don't think they're gonna do that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, this is obviously just like me guessing, and I'm just kind of erring on the side of Blizzard probably will not self-sabotage. And it's like, is that really something I should be expecting? I don't know, but that's kind of where I'm at for it.
cool. That's all I had.
no, it's a great question.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you a lot.
a lot.
Yeah,
I
that was
appreciate
really
it.
good.
Thanks, guys. You all.
Hey, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, peace.
Peace, man. All right, next caller.
Sure thing, McConnell.
Decent questions so far.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say so.
I agree. McConnell, do you have a question?
Yeah, when are they gonna fix the game?
I don't know, dude. Like, how does anybody? I mean, really, dude. I mean, dude. You know how it is.
All right, next caller.
Good answer. There we go. Move to. Yo, what's up, Donut Hole?
Yo, what's up?
Good day.
Donut.
Good
You're on
day.
the air.
Hello. Thanks for dragging me up.
Thank you for being dragged up.
Yeah, so in past weeks, there's been a bit of talk from, or I guess this whole expansion kind of towards the end, about new players or returning players, especially with Classic bringing a lot of people into retail as well. And I was kind of somebody who missed out on the whole classic hype, and then I went back and rewatched a bunch of like the day one VODs just to kind of see what the experience was like. And in December, I started playing WoW, and then I jumped to 8.3 when that came out and ditched classic. And I've been having actually a really good time with BFA. So I don't know if it's because I am like coming in so late and I'm so new to the game that everything kind of just feels like new and fun just because I'm new.
Yeah.
Would you say that's probably
Wait, I'm sorry.
where I'm at?
Hold on, just so we're clear. You said you're having fun in BFA? Is that what you said?
Yeah, no, I'm having a great time. I think there's definitely things that really piss me off.
I love you.
And one of those things was getting Pathfinder, because that was dreadful. Although they had,
Dude, I think I know what they did with the money that they used to pay me with.
Honestly, man. Nah, he's just making a joke because you said you like BFA and everybody hates BFA, so they think you're a paid actor.
Yeah, it was a joke.
Here's the thing.
It was a joke. I'm glad you're having fun in all seriousness.
Yeah. Pathfinder is actually good.
I think it's there's a couple of ways to look at it, right? If there's I guess there's two mindsets. One casual and then one everybody else. So you're either you don't care how long it takes to get to stuff because you're just going to do it anyway. And then there's also people who like are casual and it's going to take me 10 minutes to go just to where this quest wants me to go. And then after that, I got to go run back to the same spot and then turn it in. And I got to do like 10 different times. And that's just to get some, for world quests, right? There's certain areas that if it's on top of a mountain or in certain terrain where it's really fucking hard to move around. And that's kind of where I find it annoying. Just like the time waste. I just don't see a point in it.
Yeah.
But I think the experience is good on the ground.
Well, look at it this way. Yeah, I think that there's some good things about Pathfinder, but I also think unlocking Pathfinder through something closer to Mage Tower or a really awesome quest line would be more enjoyable than mindless rep grind. I think that there are a lot of moments where I feel like people have fun with WoW, and there's nothing wrong with this, right? But I feel like a lot of people have a lot of fun with WoW when they're playing really passively and they actually just don't give a fuck, right? Like you're going around, you're doing your daily quest, you got Avatar: The Last Airbender or some shit up on the other monitor, you got a stream up on the other monitor, and you really don't care about the game, and that's fine, right? Like that is reasonable, and I feel like content like that can exist, but also some of the big power gains should be behind more meaningful content instead of just that idle shit. You know, a lot of the idle shit back in the day would have been gold grinding, or it would have been like actually just getting stuff that you didn't need to do, but it put you in a better place because you did it. And I mean, you can't not get Pathfinder if you care about the game a lot, right? Like you would feel really shitty. So if you care about the game, you're now signed up for an aspect of the game that you could have otherwise avoided. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with it. I think it's in some way a necessary evil, but at the same time, it sucks not having it. But anyway, I know I don't want to take up a lot of time, so I'll move on to my next question, and this revolves around arena and PvP, and so I'm curious to see what you guys think of PvP in terms of arenas and gear and how that works, because as somebody who's new to the game, I didn't have a guild for the first 4 months that I played, and I just joined a guild just to get heirlooms and stuff like that so I can level alts, and I still don't really have a guild that I even talk to. So I guess from my perspective, getting gear for arena is like trying to get into a mythic plus, which is also hard because I don't have any Raider IO score because I just started, and I didn't even know what that was until I watched the streams. And I think it's nice to have some sort of entry point where you go into arena and you don't instantly get demolished because somebody's 480 eye level and you just leveled up to 120. But there's also like a reason to get to, you have to have a reason to get to 480 eye level to dumpster people at the same time. So I don't know if there's a way you guys have to balance that.
make 480, 450. I think that's really what it is. There's too much item level growth, and because of that, Blizzard feels like they have to change the game in a number of ways. That's pretty much it, and like add these secondary scaling systems because of how unbalanced it is.
Do you think that like getting the raid trinkets or some sort of something like that, where you get the gear that has certain abilities or tier set bonuses, would that be enough compared to just straight up eye level or power increase? If everybody, if it was based in terms of power, and then you just had those armor, and the abilities and trinkets that made you better?
I'm a little bit confused about your question. Are you talking about for PvP?
Yeah, so like because when I just started playing, I wanted to play for PvP because I was coming from an FPS background, so I was like, oh, well, I don't really care about, mythics or killing AI. I care about killing other players. And so coming in super undergeared really felt bad, and I didn't know why I was losing and why I was getting one shot. But if it was all streamlined to the point where, somebody who just got 120 is going to have about the same health as somebody who's, max eye level, and then the only difference is, the items that you get.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny. The more systems that you add into the game, obviously, the harder it is to actually figure out what the fuck is going on if you're a new player. Like, for us, it's a no-brainer that Raider IO is even something that can be talked about like it's a problem because we're so familiar with it. But there are a lot of players that, they log on and they just don't even know it fucking exists. The game doesn't really tell you that it exists. I think that the story in the game is delivered in kind of a weak way, and therefore a lot of the actual power gains are relayed to the player in somewhat of a weak way. Even with all the stuff that does go on in the Chamber of Heart, after it's been modified with catch-up mechanic upon catch-up mechanic. So I do think it's really important for us to kind of hear the perspective of someone in your case, where you just logged on and all of a sudden you're like, wait, what the heck am I even trying to do? I'm glad that you're still having fun though, but I actually do feel like a lot of the people who are having fun are somewhat people in your case. And also I don't think that the systems teach players that are in your position enough about the game to keep you wanting to play with new people. Do you feel like you constantly want to get in a guild? Do you feel like you want to be finding other people to play with? Like, what's your experience actually been?
So I come from a place, so I used to play Destiny 2 actually before this, because I played it on console, and then I ended up playing it on PC as well. And what they have in their Discord server is like 100,000 players online at one time, all looking to do different activities, right? And so then coming to WoW, I was like, okay, well, this is a massive game, so they probably have something like that. And I just couldn't find it. And now, from my understanding now, is like you have to get in a guild, and then you can actually start playing with people. Or, you can use the group finder, to get mythics and raids, but it's really subjective on, gear or your Raider IO or other external features that, initially you wouldn't have any idea of coming in new. And so I would love to get into a guild and love to, I play this, I don't want to come off as a casual either, because I play this game 12 hours a day. And so as a new player, I would love to find and join people for raids, but it's like my eye level is not there, and then I have to do these things to get eye level, but I can't get into those groups because my eye level's not high enough.
It's a catch-22, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if there's a good way to even get in a guild other than just because you can go to the guild finder and they have the active players on there, and I joined one of those, and it was like 400 active players, and I joined in, and there's 12 people online. And it's like kind of confusing because there says 400 actives, and then there's 12 people.
Well, here's the thing: it's not confusing because they're just lying.
True, dude. Big true.
Guilds suck dick anyway. Forge your own path to greatness. You understand?
Don't do that. Join a guild.
Yeah.
No. Listen
not
to me.
listen to
Don't
him.
listen to him. He doesn't. How the fuck are you gonna listen to Asmongold? He doesn't even run his own guild.
Listen, I'll be honest.
He has Dragon to it.
I don't think many people are, including myself, want to take on the time to actually make a guild. They just want to join something and have a list of people that they can meet and talk to and, play games with. And that's kind of, and I wish there was some sort of big LFG for WoW. I know that you guys are sponsored by Party, but I just use Discord all the time. I don't know if, I just made an account on Party. I don't know if they have like a voice chat or anything, but I'm just so used to using Discord and how easy it is to join and group up with people on that. And I think voice is kind of almost the one thing WoW is missing.
WoW has voice.
Yeah, WoW has it, and it's nobody uses it.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
That's why I'm really excited for Party, right? Because if Party actually pulls off everything that they want to do, it would alleviate a lot of those problems. You were a Destiny player. Did you use that website? It was called Destiny LFG, right?
Well, they have a Discord now, and it literally crashes every day because of how many people are online.
Really?
AWZ
I used
will never
to
be the
I used to
same.
use that website all the time in the original Destiny.
Yeah, I did too.
And for anyone who doesn't know, there's basically a website, and it was literally an LFG, but it was run by the
Never
community, so
forget
it
you,
actually
man.
worked really well. And it's I don't think that WoW voice is bad. I actually think WoW voice is good. It's just like the actual functionality of it is good. There are a few things though that are just like
Less than
a
3.
little bit behind on it. Like if you switch characters or log out of the game or anything like that, you're disconnected from chat, right? Like little things like that.
Right.
But yeah, it was really helpful for us to hear your perspective, by the way.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah. Well, thanks for dragging me up. I love all of you, and I hope
Thank you.
have
I love you
amazing
too.
times doing everything. I'll see you in Shadowlands.
We'll see
Yep,
you there.
see you then, man.
We'll see
All
you
right,
there.
peace.
And also,
Thank you, caller.
like we're planning on doing community runs in Shadowlands, like with Allcraft. So definitely stay posted for those, and it'll be a decent way to get some of the content done.
Yeah, I'm super looking forward to it. Thanks again.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, man. What a nice guy.
What a cool person. I'm glad we got to meet him. Guys, I gotta do one thing really quick.
Oh my god, I might miss the alpaca, dude. Am I gonna miss the alpaca, dude? I swear to God, I'm gonna be so mad if I do. Bro, I'm gonna miss it.
I'm not though.
All right, good shit. Next caller.
I gotta loot the mail first.
Oh yeah, I see that. I see that.
Please don't fucking despawn.
Wouldn't it be cool if like you got invincible and then he didn't get the llama?
That'd
Yeah,
be pretty
that'd be
fucking
really
cool, dude.
That'd be fucking
That'd be
cool.
really cool.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That'd be awesome. Wow.
Next caller.
Congrats on the mount, man.
Shut up.
You know, it'd be even cooler than that
What?
is if you didn't get invincible, but I still fed the alpaca. It's you. One more day. One more day, and you'll be mine.
Where the fuck did you get that?
My mom bought it for me.
Look at his eyelashes, dude. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, she bought it was in a special box and everything.
That's actually pretty cool, dude.
Yeah.
That's a cool llama. All right. Yo, what's up, fatty daddy?
Yo, what the fuck is up?
Yo, fatty,
What up,
you're
dude?
on the air right
Ah.
now.
So, guys,
Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
It'll
have
be less
a
without you.
proposition.
Chin up, bro.
Oh fuck. Okay, what is it?
it's probably not a new like idea, but like I have this thing about like it's such a shame to see like the whole all the previous expansions in WoW
Mhm.
like all the content that was before. Like it all stays like empty now, and you just run it like in legacy mode and one shot it to like get your mounts and stuff, and like, so it's probably not a new idea, but how do you guys sorry
You're fine.
What's your guys like take on this idea that you could that Blizzard, maybe now they're doing all this scaling shit and we're going back to 60 in Shadowlands, like
No.
how about you scale, like probably not in the near future because now we're doing all this classic shit, but sometime in the future, like someday, maybe scaling all the old content.
Oh
From
god.
Scaling it up, making it scale to your current level, and then making every single player be able to run all old raids like Molten Core, and it will drop.
So like a level sync, but for old content, right?
Yeah, so like instead of like being locked to like, okay, now it's let's say Shadowlands, and now we have to do the newest raid to get the newest gear. Instead, you could just do a clean sweep across the game and say, okay, what do you guys
They
want to
do
run?
that in Elder Scrolls, and I don't like
So-
it personally.
So what raid would you want to rerun? Give me an example.
So personally, I started like I didn't like when I was 9 or 10 years old. I had a character on my brother's account on vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was when I started playing the game. But like that's so like I didn't do any, like I didn't get to 60 and stuff like back then because I wasn't that old. But like I seriously started playing the game again in Mr. Pandaria. So I'm Mop Frog, and I know you guys meme about us a lot, but like.
Now fuck them, dude. Mop was good. Mop was good.
really fucking good.
Yeah, Mop was fucking good.
Asmon's
and I
just
have-
uncomfortable about how he feels
Yeah,
about pandas.
Asmon doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to Mop, ever. Don't ever listen to him about Mop, ever.
Or Wad.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
Okay,
sorry.
well
Like,
here's
Yeah, but I seriously started like and I haven't been raiding seriously since then. But I seriously raided Mythic and stuff back in Mob, so like I have this nostalgic feeling about Mob raids. Like Throne of Thunder, Lai Shen was like the coolest boss ever. So, but like if we're doing this classic stuff, like BC is next, and like Mob is like way down the road if they even decide to go there, right? So instead of that, like doing a clean sweep and like say some expansion, they scale the whole thing, I can just get a group together and say, okay, I actually want to do Throne of Thunder to get my current, like to get gear that's actually good for me.
Right.
So I can just go back and do that. And then
It's too easy
everybody
now.
What do you mean?
So, like, I'll give you an example. Like, I think Mists of Pandaria probably is going to age better than most of the other expansions. But, like, let's look at, like, Burning Crusade. Like, I feel like anything before Cataclysm is just immediately garbage. Like,
Oh, it's gonna be
there's...
like the whole classic thing, like classic's too easy now, so like
It's just too easy. And, like, so, for example, like, let's talk about, like, a couple of things. So, Gar from Molten Core. Gar from Molten Core would no longer be a challenge for a raid now because of the way that the of avoidance and basically blocking works now. So because you can spam block and block isn't charge based anymore, you can just block every attack once you activate it. It makes Gar substantially easier. Also, the threat modifier for tanks has been multiplied by about 500% since the original game. And I think the last buff came in patch 4.3 or 4.2. One or the other was a hotfix, I think, in patch 4.2. And so what that means is that the difficulty of that fight that existed in Classic existed because of circumstantial things that had to do with classes. And also, like, in terms of tanking, let's look at another example. Let's look at Illidan. So for Illidan, back in the day, you would have two tanks for Illidan. You would have the shear tank and you would have the fire resistance tank. And the fire resistance tank would tank the Flame of Azeroth longer, and then the shear tank would tank the Flame of Azeroth first, and then he would roll cooldowns, and you'd kill that one first because he would be mitigating much less damage because Flames of Azeroth did fire damage. Well, now you don't have resistance gear, and also shear is... you don't have 100% uptime on shield block. So you'd have to change shear to, instead of it being a block, you'd have to make it active mitigation. Then on top of that, in order for him to make the demon within phase, you no longer need a warlock tank with shadow resistance gear to do that, because tanks are able to generate enough range threat to out-threat anybody else in the raid. So it would trivialize so much of the content. And then also, let's look at Reliquary of Souls. So Reliquary of Souls, one of the most difficult parts of Reliquary of Souls is Phase 2. Why is Phase 2 the most difficult part? 2 reasons. Number 1 is because you have the reflect damage in Phase 2 from attacking the boss. Then on top of that, you also have the interrupts. And so back in Burning Crusade, interrupts costed a resource, and they were also on the global cooldown. So you'd have to rotate with a rogue and have 2 rogues coming in there, basically in like a separate channel, planning specifically how they would interrupt and who would interrupt next, etc. And then also, that doesn't even count like Deaden, for example. So Deaden is like a debuff that like he casts, Reliquary of Souls casts. And just the fundamental act of being able to see what the mobs are casting while they're casting it makes it a lot easier too. And you have more dispels now. You also have so interrupts are not off the GCD now, and they do not cost a resource, which will mean that interrupting Spirit Shock is going to be a completely easy mechanic, and it's no longer challenging at all. And because people have so much return and self-healing, and there's so much more AoE healing capabilities, that there's really no way for anybody to die in Phase 2 unless they just completely make a mistake. So there's a lot of fights in the game, and like you can even apply this to like Cataclysm as well, because of how much more weak auras have developed, and things like Sinestra Orbs wouldn't really be as challenging, and other things similar to that too.
You know, I think that the main thing that Asmon brings up there too, when you connect all that shit together, is just it's not as simple as it should be, right? It's not just like, oh, just add more mechanics or take away mechanics. The way the gear actually functions is going to affect everything. The way that class...
all I'm saying is it wouldn't work.
I get the gist of that.
Yeah, and the way the classes are designed too. I mean, like I think he brings up, like Asmon brought up a million good points when you actually think about how many immunes people have, how many movement abilities different people have. You just have so many tools for every single problem that they try to invent new problems, and it's complicated, right? I don't pity them. It's a difficult job to actually do, but I think reusing content for that reason doesn't really work. That was why I thought Karazhan was cool. How they did Karazhan. I thought Return to Karazhan was a pretty interesting balance. Like, everybody wanted to go back. It felt a lot like Karazhan, but it still felt pretty new. So I think things like that in the future might be okay, but I hate what they did. Obviously, it's not a raid, but I hate what they did with the zones for the current dailies. I thought that felt very uninspired, and didn't feel like you were getting enough new shit in those areas. Thank you, Warren.
But like, do you guys see any solution to this then? I obviously now Asmon has completely demolished my idea, but like, it's so I still think it's such a shame that now if WoW Classic goes on to BC, then vanilla just becomes irrelevant again, and then we've had 2 runs through vanilla, and then we're never gonna run through it again. Like, they're not gonna do a Classic 2. So then that just becomes irrelevant content once again.
Well, they're not going to delete vanilla WoW. Like they're going to probably keep classic WoW servers and then just let people decide whether they want to play on TBC or play on classic. I don't really see a world where they delete classic WoW to make TBC. I mean, that would be like a huge stupid mistake. I couldn't imagine them doing that.
You sure?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're that dumb. Oh, I just got my Azeroth mini pack for the week.
Nice.
I got Blastatron.
They can just introduce
Oh yeah, are
15,000
those the little
different
boxes you get
concepts
from
and then
Mcconnell?
just pick
Like,
Yep,
one.
and I didn't get the one I needed again.
Yeah, and I opened one the other day. It was like, it was purple, and it said something like it sold for 100 gold.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was called King something. I don't remember.
No way!
That's crazy. That's crazy, dude.
Yo!
Love the way you
That is
and I'm
that.
excited for the
Wow.
next couple of years with you as a streamer. Much
You know what it is?
and
Yeah, he
Yeah, I do.
does.
I
Yeah.
That was the easiest 100 gold I ever got from a vendor. So.
That's crazy, man.
Get
Wow.
fucked, dude. Get fucked.
Yeah, that's real nice.
Grady Watch
Holy
Cheers.
shit!
Real
100.
fucking nice.
Thank you, caller.
Dude, thank you. Thank you, man.
Hey, caller. Thank you, dude.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. And just on the last note, like,
Oh, shit.
That was a wet one, dude.
Oh my god. He got us, man. He actually fucking got
Maybe
us.
he got you guys.
No, he got you too.
Yeah, he got you, man.
It was 100%
My
you.
thing. He did my thing.
Yeah, I know.
No.
All right, next caller.
Dude, I searched Asmon Mcconnell because I wanted to find that one picture where McConnell's behind Asmon, the one that somebody drew.
Oh no, you don't have to find that one.
But then this came up. What is that?
Oh fuck, man. Fuck.
What is that?
That's not me, okay? It's not. Everybody thinks it's me, it's not.
What is that?
I don't have TikTok. It's not fucking true.
I don't have TikTok.
Goddamn lie. Fuck, man.
TikTok, by the way, is getting banned. If anybody's not aware,
Ninja uninstalled TikTok because
Yep,
it's
it's
from
gone.
China.
Wait, really?
Yeah, no joke, no meme.
Wait, is it actually getting banned?
No, it's probably not, but like, I mean, we'll see.
I know people are I saw like the trends going on, but you know, I feel like people like with every app when it's new have that happen, right? But I feel like this is like the third or fourth time with TikTok. Weren't people like didn't people want to ban Instagram when it first started?
I mean, like, they should have.
Do you like
You
Wendy's?
think so?
Wendy's nuts hit
Oh,
the
yeah.
chin.
Dude, did you see what I tweeted at you the other day, by the way, Asmon?
What?
You were like, I wish dragons were real.
Oh yeah. What about it?
I asked you, I said, I was like, do you know Imagine Dragons?
I hate that fucking band, man. Why you have to bring that up?
Because I wanted you to imagine me dragging these nuts across your face.
Shit,
Christ. Oh my
fuck, man. Come on,
Oh my
come on, man.
god.
I can't catch a break.
Jesus Christ.
This is disgusting.
Oh, shut up! You're the biggest streamer on the goddamn platform. You can take a couple jokes.
Well, you better fucking hope so, because I get them all fucking day. That's all I get are jokes.
You got a lot of Twitch Primes too, man.
That's true.
Jokes and Twitch Primes. Let's see. Let's bring in the next. What's up, Joda? How you doing? Okay. Yeah, but he's watching the stream, and you pull him in. You go, Joda, and then here's the name on stream. There's a little bit of a delay. Then he'll undeafen, and he'll come in and he'll be like, "Yo, sorry, I was deafened." Any second now.
Are you sure?
90% sure. Happens every now and then. It doesn't work, but I just go, Joda. Oh,
What?
well, he left.
He doesn't want to talk.
He's really upset about the TikTok thing.
So,
This person's named Mick Caller.
no.
You don't
No.
trust him?
No.
Okay. I'm randomly picking someone. I don't even know what this person's name is. Melly-ator. How are you?
Hello.
Hello,
Hello?
Melly-ator.
Oh my god.
Hello, you're on the air.
So I'm just coming back to WoW from a really long break. I stopped playing like kind of at the end of Kata.
Wow.
But I've been playing Path of Exile a lot. And so coming back, one of the things I liked about Path of Exile was just that basically everything in the game was tradable, and so the more you played, you kind of
Thanks, Lost.
accrued wealth on your character. And this would normally be in the. Sorry, I'm getting nervous. My voice going to crack. Perfect.
Hey, dude, just
Give hearts.
it.
Give hearts. Give hearts.
All right,
give hearts.
all right.
Give hearts in chat.
But you
Give hearts.
would gain wealth over time, and I think maybe I don't know. At some point, I would just come to the decision oh, my character is no longer fun. I want to pivot and play something else. So I was kind of wondering what your thoughts would be on opening up more items, maybe heroic and mythic items or PvP items, and being DOEs, or not necessarily bind on anything, and making them tradable, because as the game is right now, I feel you have to engage in those activities to get those items. And my life's a little bit different than it was when I was playing in Kata, so I don't have the time to kind of commit to a guild and kind of build up that item sheet on my character. And so I guess farming or making money in the game would be a way that I could engage that. I guess I could just leave it there for a question.
Yeah, I think you brought up a really good question. I can totally understand how your life definitely changed a lot. You haven't been playing for a while. I'm sure you're probably married with 8 children and a full-on career now. As a long time to quit the game. That's time for life. Welcome back, first of all. I also agree with you wholeheartedly on a lot of the stuff with PoE. I think one of the nice things about PoE is no matter how you're playing the game, you can work. You progress, even if you're playing in a way that is kind of dumb. You could try to lose money as long as you're not exalt slamming all of your maps or whatever you're doing. You're going to earn currency over time, and with that, there's always the freedom that you're going to be able to play the game that you want, because there is so much flexibility. The thing is I think that having secondary progression systems be account wide, and actually allowing you to play your alts is a good way to start. Because if you're able to actually progress a lot of the gear, let's say that there is a meta progression for Torghast, for example, you would be able to get those legendaries quicker on your alts. So when you have that moment where you're not having as much fun on a character, you would actually be able to do it. And I also do agree the idea of being able to progress in any function of the game that you want is also nice. But even in PoE, there is this interdisciplinary aspect where in certain ways it just makes a lot more sense to do the actual things. I think Harvest League's a really good example. It's right now, I could just grind currency and I can never do anything in the farm. I could completely avoid this league mechanic, and if I wanted a really sick chest, I could mirror it eventually. If I don't want to earn a mirror, I can engage in that content, and I could probably get a mirror-worthy tier chest for 7 exalts right now. I could avoid it if I wanted to, but it would be really inefficient. And I think that if WoW has systems like that, where it makes much more sense to go down a certain line, but you can do it less efficiently down other paths of play, I think that's when the game wins.
Yeah, and I know it's a really complex approach or question to ask, but I feel like the game is basically funneling you into a certain select amount of activities that you have to do every week or every day to remain competitive while the content's so fresh. And I feel like that leads to a lot of burnout. That's what stopped me from playing at one point. But still, I guess opening up the economy or opening up this the end result of these aspects of the game and allowing you to play another part of the game and come back to it if you ever want to, will just kind of, I guess, help with less burnout, But I don't necessarily know exactly how well that works in WoW, just because it works well in PoE because there's seasons, right? So maybe
there's seasons in WoW too.
With, raid resets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the way in WoW, you would always, it would be a blend of standard and the seasons, because you could always just, I guess, liquidate whatever valuable items you have take a break and then come back and still like just buy the most current like set of Mythic gear.
So they're obviously, yeah. I think that there are like some things that aren't going to be 1-to-1, right? Some things just aren't going to be 1-to-1 between PoE and WoW, because in PoE you have the ability to non-stop grind, and that's where like a lot of the RNG can come in. And that's where I think a lot of the systems in WoW became bad, because for some reason they didn't realize that raid lockouts and Diablo 3 mechanics, which barely worked in Diablo 3, don't make sense together. I think that we're kind of in like a better spot when you look at PoE seasons and you say like, why are these so fresh and how can they be taken into account with how it could work in WoW? Like, I think that seasons were a good start right now with how the seasonal affixes actually felt. But there was no meta progression that actually made the seasons feel any different, right? Like with PoE, there are always new rewards that come along too, and that keeps the game fresh. I just farmed in World of Warcraft the same exact piece of gear with the same exact effect, the same exact name for fucking 2 years. For fucking, how much money for 2 years I farmed the same exact gear. That is the worst implementation of a reward system that I've ever seen in the game. Something like that needs to change, and I think that seasons are a good opportunity to look at that and to actually change that.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted a little bit of response on that, just initial question, but I did have a secondary one. I'm noticing with all the Shadowlands updates, like reverting back to this like 60 level cap. It seems like Blizzard's trying to kind of engage with the game where they can like introduce a system that they can kind of control and scale to the degree that they want, which I think is good. You know, I think things get out of hand. What did with item level start out in BFA, like 370, and then jump all the way up 340? Yeah. And so, yeah, that just gets out of hand. But I mean, at the end of Shadowlands, if they're going to do the same thing, which they definitely can, since they're building the framework right now, they could just roll everything back to 55 and then make Shadowlands one of like the additional areas that you can level through, right? So like I appreciate that aspect of the game, but then I was watching your Allcraft episode with Preach, and and just your comments, I guess, a little while ago, Asmon, where you were talking about like Blizzard should take risks, Blizzard should like introduce more systems into the game, and I think that inherently, I guess, leads to these scalable systems like going out of control. Because like I think Preach was talking about something that might have been like a 5% variance, but then when you attached it to all the other aspects that they were introducing, it like exacerbated it to like 40%. Like, how do you feel about kind of, I guess, that the conflicts that's present there?
You mean like in terms of the gear and everything just kind of like scaling out of control?
Well, I think like we see, and they're listening to community feedback about taking care of certain systems that have just gone out of control, and that would be present like in the level squish and the item level squish that will be accompanying that. And then them introducing mechanical devices in the game that have variance present in it, but like since they're introducing, maybe I'm not as caught up with like all the new systems introduced in Shadowlands, but there's going to be like a certain set of options that you have, and there will be a amount of variance in results from that subset, right? But then you have 4 other areas that are the same, and they're all introduced together, and it really makes tuning those systems like basically impossible.
Yeah, and like I think they're cutting too much time into it. I don't think it's realistic for them to expect to be able to fix the problem, and I think that they're making a mistake by trying. I think that they should focus on making covenants a cosmetic choice rather than something that you have to basically choose in order to be effective in terms of DPS. I think it's a mistake to do that.
Yeah, I agree with Asmon there.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I got really nervous, and
Dude, you're fine.
You're fine, man.
You ask great questions.
That was honestly, I'm stupid and I got lost, so they were really good.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time, guys.
Dude, can I tell you something that's funny, dude? there was a moment when you started playing Dark Souls 2 and your eyes changed from like these cheery eyes to just these deadened fucking coals, bro. There was like a clear switch. There was just like a clear moment.
I wanted to try out a new weapon before I did it on stream. Wanted to see what it was like.
Is it your secret weapon thing?
The what?
Is it the secret weapon thing you were talking about?
No, I was just using it as a Y-hander.
Oh my god. Okay, next caller.
It was like all the life got like sucked out of him. Like it just like it instantly could see that he started playing. I get why you stream it without a cam, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
Here, let's see. Yo, what's up, Radian?
Hey, first of all, sorry to hear about your getting fired, but to bigger and better things, I think.
Thank you. It gets easier each time. Where are you from?
Aussie, man, Australia.
So I have one Australian friend who said that everybody from Australia is a paid actor and that Australia doesn't actually exist and that the Earth is flat. Do you have any comments about that?
Yeah, well, BFA has been the best expansion ever.
What the fuck? Get this guy out of here! What the fuck, dude? Holy shit!
Oh my god!
I just got fucking hit by whirlwinds too. I'm in a key. I'm terrible. I'm like getting hard carried. Oh, dead. It's all right. The question I wanted to ask, based off of you recently losing your job commentating, but when is Blizzard gonna realize that using like yourself and Asmon and Preach and things like that, they've basically got free content creators that can make their game better?
Well, I think it's a complicated thing, right? I think that they've done a lot better with doing things with the community this time around, even if it's not like I think they've done a decent amount of stuff with Preach. I think they did. Morgan Day did an interview with Preach, and then I believe Preach did an interview with Mr. GM and Ian Hazzikostas today. I actually didn't get to see that one, but I'm pretty sure that was a joint interview. So like they've done a lot of stuff with Preach. I know that they were actually planning on doing stuff with Preach before he got banned too, right? Like the thing is we're not perfect as content creators all the time, and they're a company. And if you do some dumb shit and they just worked with you, they kind of just did that dumb shit themselves, I think is kind of the outlook that they have. Now, do I think that it's not worth the risk at all to work with content creators because of that? No, absolutely not. But I think it's a learning process as Twitch becomes bigger and bigger, and as things become bigger and bigger. I mean, like look at Swifty, right? When he got in trouble for making like an in-game event where he accidentally crashed the server. That was where we started with stuff. We started with Warcraft movies. Like they're a company. They're a big company. It's a giant ship. It takes a long time to actually cause it to change course. And it's a lot easier for content creators to move with the tides because we got to look after ourselves. You know, I go on stream one time. I say, I freak out. I call the game absolutely terrible. It's a 30-second clip. And everybody who watches my stream knows I was just mad in the heat of the moment. And that's that. When you work at a company, if one person's super mad at something like that, that's not something that instantly goes away, right? And then all of a sudden you have a post-it note about you. So I think that there are a lot of things, and this is obviously just like my personal take on it. I think it's not as easy as we would all hope for it to be, but I think they've done better. I think they've done a lot better over time with working with content creators. I mean, would you agree, Asmon?
Yeah, I think they've done pretty well by me. I'm happy.
Yeah, and they've worked with us in the past too, right? Like we had an Allcraft at BlizzCon one year. I mean, every now and then, as a content creator, you're gonna do something dumb, and then like, you know, I just like as long as you can be on the naughty boy list for a little while, and then if you're better over time, you can get off the naughty list. I think that's an important thing. But yeah, I think it's like just a little bit more complicated because of the size of the company. But I also do agree with you that the risks are important, and they should be trying to do it more and more.
Yeah, I think that shows a level of maturity that you guys have around all that to take the responsibility from you. and it might just be a bit of a culture difference for me, but like I guess over here, you know, we call our friends, you know, names that you wouldn't call people,
cunts,
and things like, yeah, like, you know, but I guess it's probably a bit of a culture difference as well. But yeah, you know, gonna miss hearing you call the PvP and tournaments and stuff like that. But I think yeah, I think you guys are gonna change the world.
Oh, dude, thank you, man. I mean, dude, I think I've been like pretty cool about it, but I mean, dude, when I think about not being at BlizzCon and shit, like it kind of breaks my heart, right? I'm pretty upset about it, and but like I get it too, right? And it's easier when you've been around a few times to get both sides of things. I do feel kind of bad if I like let anyone down by not doing it anymore, but like, cause I feel bad about that. Like if like I'm not doing it, and like when people say that they enjoyed it and shit, it kind of sucks. But I know that as an individual and as a group of people, I know that I know we're gonna make a bunch of really good shit, and I think it'll make up for it. And I'm gonna use the time that I would have been casting to be more creative and try to make more tournaments with Asmon, with S-Fan, you know, get Mcconnell involved when he wants to get involved, and do shit that we haven't done before.
Yeah, that's. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and McConnell, I nearly switched from Rep Pally after hearing you win so much in Classic.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. You should have switched.
Yeah, I should have rolled a warrior. I think
that's.
I forgot how imbalanced the classes were back then.
Yeah, so did he.
Thank you very much. Best of luck with the streaming.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Guys, Asmon is heading out right now, so can we get some hearts in the chat for that guy?
For that guy, yeah, sure, dude. That's that guy. Really appreciate that. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get some food, and I will be back later on, boys. I'll see you later.
See you guys later.
Peace, dude. Wait, so you're gonna leave now too, McConnell? You're just gonna leave because Asmon left? McConnell? Hey, McConnell? Hey, McConnell? All right, well. I turned text-to-speech back on since all my friends left. At least somebody will talk to me now.